Happy New Year to all you guys. Before I bump into the intro, I just really quickly want to say Happy New Year. Yes, in this video. Yes, also the Christmas stuff is down because Christmas is over and now we're on to 2024. We're on to bigger and better things, and I want to refresh everything after that horrible loss. But I do want to say Happy New Year to all you guys. Thank you guys so very much for following the channel, being a part of the channel for the 2023 year. After the intro, we're going to go into some more things on the channel. Also, going to shout out a few people and all that good stuff. But I did want to come on here and say Happy New Year and thank you guys for an awesome 2023. What is up, Finn fans? Again, happy 2023. Before we get into the Dolphin stuff, I do want to shout out a few people, kind of talk about the channel and how 2023 went, and now we're on to 2024. So first and foremost, I do want to shout out today's sponsor, and you've heard about them a lot, and that is BetUS. Fantastic site, especially with the playoffs coming up. You can get some really cool prop bets in there. You can get some really cool spreads. They do a ton of cool little things on the site. Without me blabbering more about it, let them explain it to you and talk about the giveaways they do.
BetUS, America's favorite sports book, where you can bet on everything anytime. Sportsbook, casino, horse racing, live betting, and more. We have the best bonuses in the industry. That's right, get a 125% sign-up bonus. And to celebrate our 30-year anniversary, we are giving up to 30 risk-free bets, a truck, Super Bowl tickets, and more. Don't miss out. Play smart. Join now. BetUS, where the game begins.
Again, shout out to BetUS, one of the sponsors of this channel, and helped 2023, help the channel grow and all that stuff. A bunch of the sponsors, I hope, sometimes it could be a little annoying that, oh, here's another sponsor video. A lot of the sponsorship that I pick is something I would use or something I use when it came to better health, all that stuff. So to the sponsors, thank you for helping support the 2023 channel. Also, I got to shout out some new Patreons and members on the membership side. Shout out to Casey, Mike, Andrew, Randy, Pro Special, RJ, Ewok Chef, Fabio, Dominion, Jeffrey, and Cool Beans. To all the members, and especially the new ones, thank you for supporting and being a part of a cool little nugget of this channel for 2023. And then on the Patreon side, we have Jacob, Snackman 3000, Zay, and Kevin. Thank you guys so much for being patrons. Again, another little small cool niche to this channel. Again, special perks for each. If you'd like to join the membership, it is the join button next to the subscribe button. If you want to join the Patreon, it's linked in the description. But 2023 has been crazy. Before we get into Dolphin stuff, gained 6.7 thousand subscribers in 2023. Nuts. That's nuts. 4.8 million views in 2023. Watch time 746.9 thousand hours. That is incredible, and that has everything to do with you guys. And I always talk to you, thank you and all that stuff, but for real, from the bottom of my heart, it means a lot to me that for 2023 you supported me, and I'm going to keep doing this until the wheels fall off. So thank you all so much, and on to 2024. Now let's talk Dolphin stuff, now that I wasted about 5 minutes of your life spieling about the channel and thanks and all that stuff. So now we're going to do a little deeper dive. I'm going to talk some stats on where the Dolphins are in the season. I'm going to talk a little bit injuries. Talk a little bit more about the game now that I got to really take a breath and assess what happened yesterday. But let's jump into it. Tua Tagovailoa, 4,451 yards. That is number one in the NFL. A 69.6 completion percentage. That is number one in the NFL. 28 touchdowns is tied for fourth most in the NFL. 12 interceptions, also tied for fourth most in the NFL. And a 103 passer rating is third in the NFL. So not bad stats, even though he had a bad day at the office yesterday. Raheem Mostert, 1,012 rushing yards, is sixth in the NFL, but his 18 touchdowns is still number one. Altogether, I think he has 21 touchdowns when it comes to adding his receiving touchdowns. Devon Achane, 744 yards. He could possibly, if he went off on Buffalo and rushed for 256 yards, he could break 1,000. It'd be the first, I think it'd be first time in Dolphins history we had 2,000-yard rushers. It ain't happening. But he has 7 touchdowns, which is ninth in the NFL. Tied for ninth in the NFL. You have Tyreek Hill, 1,717 yards. Is number one in the NFL, 12 touchdowns. Is number two behind Mike Evans. He needs 283 yards to break 2,000. Will he go off against Buffalo? We'll see. And Jalen Waddle, 1,014 yards, 21st in the NFL, and he has 2 touchdowns. Unfortunately, on the defensive side, Bradley Chubb, 11 sacks, is 10th in the NFL. Zach Seiler's 9.5 sacks, and Christian Wilkins, 8 sacks are our leaders. Now, I say unfortunately because with Bradley Chubb, what they're fearing, and no official news as of me recording this, which is Sunday night, New Year's. Technically, I'm into the next year now while I'm recording it because it is 12:48. They fear that he tore his ACL. And the pain that he was in, the noises he was making, and being carted off the field, he's done for the year. Hopefully, the damage to the knee isn't so severe that his comeback is worse than it needs to be, and we get him back for 2024 sooner than later, and he's ready for training camp. But the fact that it happened so late in the year, it's going to suck. Again, him and Jalen Phillips were setting up to be a dynamic pass rush, and they both got hurt, which really sucks. Xavier Howard, possibly broken toe. He's done for the year. It's kind of, like I said in my recap, snake bitten. So next man stepping up, but it's Bradley Chubb, Xavier Howard, Jalen Phillips, Isaiah Wynn, Connor Williams, Eric Ezukoman. Do you guys remember he's on IR? And Jerome Baker. Jerome Baker hopefully comes back for the playoffs. We have one spot available for a player to come off of IR, and from what I'm hearing, it is going to be Jerome Baker, but just snake bitten. And then also players that are hurt. Liam Eichenberg got banged up. You got Jalen Waddle, who's dealing with the high ankle sprain. You got Raheem Mostert, who was a surprise no-go, but hopefully he'll be ready for Buffalo. You got Javon Holland, who played, but he didn't look like himself. And then you have Robert Hunt, who also, hopefully we get him back next week. But that game yesterday, the Ravens were just red hot. They were ready to go, and they just spanked the Dolphins. Plain and simple. It sucked to lose that way. It just sucked more to have Bradley Chubb go out that way. Like I said, hopefully what happened to his knee isn't that bad. Hopefully it's not a tear on the ACL. Hopefully it's something different, and his recovery time is shorter than, however long it's going to be. But we got banged up guys. We got to step it up. Hopefully Waddle comes back next week against the Bills. Oh, and that's the other thing. The game has now officially been moved to Sunday night. So the Buffalo-Miami game for the championship will be the last game played for Week 18. And that is huge because there's a lot of implications that depend on where the seeding is going to be, and even if Buffalo makes the playoffs. And I'm going to get to that in a second. But this is another situation like the Titans game, like the Eagles game, like the Chiefs game, where we have to bounce back. I know we're injured. I know our pass rushers are injured. I know we're worried about that stuff, but it's next man mentality. It's bounce back. It's do your job mentality. Now, I'm going to talk a lot about that this week. I'm going to also bring up a lot of the past, a lot of things that need to be worked on this week, because this is, as big as the Ravens game is, now it's do or die. You want to win the division? You want to be the number 2 seed? Now's the time. A lot of people are down and out. A lot of fans are down and out. Rightfully so. We just got the crap kicked out of us, 56-19. Destroyed. So it's rightfully so. A lot of us, even myself, are very dejected and down and out. But this team needs to bounce back in a big way. And I talk about the past, 2008. The last time the Dolphins won the division. Jets traded for a Packers quarterback. Then a new Packers quarterback started for the first time in a long time. And then it got down to the last week of the season, and it was a 4 o'clock game. A night game, essentially, against the Jets. This year, Jets trade for a Packers quarterback. A new Packers quarterback starts for the first time in a long time. And it's coming down to the last week of the season, and it's a night game. I'm not saying we're going to win, but that's very, very coincidental. That's all I'm going to say. But let's talk about some seeding. Let's talk about playoff stuff. Let's talk about rooting for and rooting against and all of that stuff. So you see right now where we stand. We're still the number 2 seed because the Chiefs lost 2 games. They almost lost to the Cincinnati Bengals, which would have really hurt Buffalo. But a lot of stuff can happen. There's a lot of 9-7 teams sitting here right behind Buffalo. And some of these teams, because look, you got 9-7, 9-7, 9-7. Jaguars might not win that division. There's a lot going on, and we're going to talk about it in this whole area. But you got Miami and the 2nd seed, and the winner of the Dolphins Bills will get the 2nd seed because the Bills beat the Chiefs. And if the Dolphins win, they'll have the 1 game up. So whoever wins between the Dolphins and the Bills will get the number 2 seed. Kansas City seems like a lock at 3. Jacksonville, we don't know what's happening there, like I said, with all the other stuff. Real quick, though, Philly. What's going on with Philly? They lost 4 of the last 5. They just lost to the Cardinals. I understand we got the brakes beat off us by the Ravens, but the Ravens are the Super Bowl favorites. The Ravens are that good. You lost to the Cardinals. I don't know what's going on with Philly. I just want to throw that in there. It makes me feel better. And we look at the my brain work. New York Times percentages. Dolphins clinched playoff spot 95%. So it's a good possibility to make it, but not really. This got much closer because we lost. So now it's like a 50-50, but the Dolphins get a little bit of a notch. I'm assuming because we're home, even though we're the underdogs. I think we're like a 2-point underdog. I think the Bills are giving us 2, probably due to the injuries. Buffalo's more of a Super Bowl favorite than the Dolphins. Obviously 100, and they're Super Bowl favorites, as they should be, and then everyone else. You look here, they have a 77% chance, but I'll show you a lot can change. Even here, 17% chance of winning the division. Crazy. Let's look at that. We're using the playoff machine. Aesthetically, it's more pleasing to my eye. So, a lot is going on. We're up to just week 18. A lot is going to go on. Now, I'm going to run down this because I don't do the picks really anymore, and we're going to look at it. You got the first matchup here. They clinched everything, the Ravens. They have the number 1 seed, and they have the division locked up. Will they play their starters? I think they'll play their starters for a little bit because you don't want to have 2 weeks rest. But don't be surprised if the Steelers win that. We'll stick with that. Then you got the Seattle heading to Arizona. I think Seattle will win that. This is a big matchup that I will get to. I think Green Bay beats Chicago. I think Tampa beats them. I think Kansas City beats the Chargers. I think the Browns beat the Bengals. I think the Broncos beat the Raiders, even though they're out of it. It's just kind of competition at this point. I think the Lions beat the Raiders. You're going to load it. Oh, I'm just going to keep going. I think the Eagles beat the Giants. This is an interesting one I will get to. I think 49ers beat the Rams. I think the Saints beat them. I think they beat them. And this is another interesting one that we'll get to. So, I saved, even this one's a little interesting. So I can't unclick it. Let's go into the interesting ones, right? So, Steelers win. Say the Colts win. If the I honestly think that the Patriots are going to win this one. I think Bill Belichick wants to go out with a bang. That has nothing really to do with anything else. Jaguars beat the Titans. Titans are down bad, right? Now, this is where it gets very interesting. The Miami Dolphins versus the Buffalo Bills at home. Sunday Night Football. Buffalo wins. Obviously, we see a flip. In this scenario, the Dolphins would be heading to Kansas City. Buffalo would win the division, and they'd be hosting the Indianapolis Colts. We saw that, 2 years ago? It's a crazy, crazy game. But, big, fat, ugly, pimply butt. If the Miami Dolphins, so if it pans out this way, that the Steelers win and the Jaguars win, and the Dolphins beat the Bills, The Bills do not make the playoffs. They will go 10-7, and because of tiebreakers and because of all the 10-7 teams, when it comes to the Steelers and when it comes to the Colts and when it comes to the Jaguars, all that stuff, the Bills do not make the playoffs. And this is huge implications, right? When it comes to all these other games, if the Dolphins win, it doesn't matter. The Dolphins get the number 2 seed. But what happens is Buffalo is going to be watching Saturday and Sunday's games like a hawk, so they know if they make the playoffs. Because if the Ravens do play their starters the entire game and shellac the Steelers, then the Bills make the playoffs. Or if somehow the Jaguars falter to the Tennessee Titans and the Titans play upset, the Bills make the playoffs. That's the only way, because you look over here, and this is all just for, that seed. So again, if the Jaguars win and the Steelers win, then this is all just for the 6th seed. Say whoever wins this is the 6th seed. Win and you're in. And I think it'll be Indy. So again, Buffalo is going to be huge Ravens and Titans fans before their game against Miami. Because if they lose to Miami and the Steelers and the Jaguars win, the Buffalo Bills do not make the playoffs. So for all that clamor and all that chattering they're making, even Dan Mitchell, writing the script of yada yada, if Miami wins this game, they don't make the playoffs. And then the Dolphins face the Steelers at home first, the wild card of the playoffs. And that's a dangerous team to face, but I'm not as worried about facing them versus potentially facing Buffalo. But then again, if the Titans Ravens, Titans win, then Buffalo gets the 6th seed. We still face the Ravens, the Steelers, and they go there. But if one of them wins, and again, it doesn't matter which one wins, Buffalo gets the 7th seed, and we have to face Buffalo in back-to-back weeks. At home, but still back-to-back weeks. So as Dolphin fans, and especially one who's tired of hearing Buffalo, we want the Steelers and the Jaguars to win, and we want to beat Buffalo. Obviously, for one, we want that crown. We want that championship. We want to be AFC East champions. And for two, Buffalo can go sit on the couch with the rest of the division, which is crazy because when you think about it, this division was supposed to be such a good division, and you got the Jets at 6-10, you got the Patriots at 4-12, just craziness. And then when you look at it, right, say it pans out that way. Let me go back. Say it pans out that way. I'm trying to see. So Carolina would have the number 1 pick. You'd have Arizona, Washington, and New England at 4-12. I don't know where it would come strength of schedule, who would get what picks, but absolutely crazy. But the Miami Dolphins just have to take care of business. They didn't against the Ravens. They did against the Cowboys. This is it. This is it. You put up or shut up. Plain simple. You want the number 2 seed, and getting the number 2 seed is huge. Because say we got the number 2 seed and we beat the Steelers or we beat the Colts. Say we play one of those two as the number 2 seed at home. And then the following week, the Steelers would get the lowest, and then the Dolphins, yada, yada. That's how the seeding works. So let me show you one last time before. So say we beat the Steelers, the Chiefs beat the Colts, and the Browns beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. So what is left is the Steelers then would face the Cleveland Browns, and then we would host the Chiefs. See how that works? So again, we still have a home playoff game because we're the number 2 seed. Then, just what if Cleveland beats the Baltimore Ravens? They did it before. Then all of a sudden, we host the AFC Championship game and face Cleveland if we beat Kansas City. So and I'm not telling you these things because I'm like, this is going to happen. I'm telling you these things because this is how important at least getting the number 2 seed is because If someone upsets the Ravens, then the playoffs run through Miami. So tomorrow, I wish it was tomorrow. I'm going to have to agonize for this for a week and all of Sunday. Huge. Not only for getting the East, but for getting the number 2 seed and for shutting the Bills up. But I got a lot going on for this week. Tell me if... I'm going to put a poll up, but also you can say in the comment section. But on the community tab, I'm going to put a poll up if you guys want me to break down the film of the Ravens game. If it's an emphatic no, I'm not going to do it. I'll just recap the... I'm just going to recap the Hard Knocks, and then I'll continue with my videos on the week, and then we'll live stream. So look out for that on the community tab. Also comment it below. But other than that, again, love you all. 2023 was good for me personally and the channel and with you guys. Let's continue 2024 off on a good note. Let's get this W. Let's get the number 2 seed, and let's win some playoff games. But on that, I'll see you tomorrow. Like usual, stay classy. FN top.